job by Jimmy Korderas. Korderas or Korderas?
Korderas, the Greek man from Canada.
Ladies and gentlemen, WrestleMania 37 is this coming weekend. Kevin, Mickey, Jimmy Korderas with you. Jimmy Korderas, I've got till 5, referee, meaning we have 5 best bets. Jimmy Korderas, a former WWE official. Jimmy, have you been known to place a wager or two in your day?
Yes, not on pro wrestling or sports entertainment, but I have been known to frequent a track or maybe a card table every once in a while. Vegas was always one of my favorite places to visit.
You and me both, Jimmy. So what we're going to do today is a different way to preview WrestleMania. We're going to look at the 5 best bets of WrestleMania. Yeah, I've got till 5, referee, as Jesse the Body Ventura once said. So let's take a look at a few different matches, the bigger matches on the card for certain. Jimmy, why don't we start with this? One of the biggest matches on the card, the WWE Championship. We have Bobby Lashley, the Almighty, defending his championship against Drew McIntyre. Now, interesting wagering here because Drew McIntyre, he's the favorite, the challenger, the favorite at minus 150. Bobby Lashley going off at plus 110. Jimmy, who do you like in this one?
See, here's the thing. With this match, you can make a case for either guy. You know, is it too soon for Bobby Lashley to relinquish the title? Is it too, is this the time for Drew McIntyre to gain back that victory? Like last year, he beat Brock Lesnar without an audience there. Now they're going to have an audience. But for me, I think there is a case to be made for Bobby Lashley. I'm going to lean Bobby Lashley here because he's the better value pick.
I was going to go the exact same way route, Jimmy, the exact same route. I really like Bobby Lashley here. In fact, I spoke to Bobby Lashley a week or two ago, and Bobby said that he has plans to hang on to that championship for another calendar year. That's how long he wants to hang on to this thing.
Yes, and also I know a lot of people are upset that the Hurt Business has seemingly broken up. I have a feeling that this is maybe a little bit of a ruse, and they will play a factor into this match on this weekend.
Jimmy, I'm glad you brought that up because that gives us our opportunity to say that Jimmy Korderas, ladies and gentlemen, has no inside knowledge as to what's happening. These are us just thinking what is going to happen, our best bets. Jimmy, right?
Absolutely. No insider knowledge here. This is me just speculating and just trying to think of best case scenarios.
So Jimmy likes Bobby Lashley at plus 110. I like Bobby Lashley at plus 110, and I'm going to lock this in early. This is the best value play at WrestleMania for me. Plus 110, Bobby Lashley. He's the champion. I think that he retains, and you get a little bit of extra money if you put some on Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley retains. The next match is the Universal Championship match. We have a triple threat match. What was once just a one-on-one, now we have Edge, Canada's own, Orangeville's finest, challenging, along with Daniel Bryan, going up against the champion, Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns going off at plus 200, Daniel Bryan also going off at plus 200, while Edge, the challenger, Orangeville's finest, Orangeville, Ontario's finest, going off at plus 125. Jimmy, who do you like in this match?
You know what? Before I give you my pick, normally I'm not a fan of three-way matches for the top titles, but in this case, I'm looking forward to this one. This one's very interesting. I think all the guys involved in this have been hitting it out of the park. But from a betting perspective, the favorite is plus 125. I like the fact that the favorite is giving you plus value, and you can make a case for this easily because Edge doesn't technically have to pin Roman Reigns to become the champion. He can pin Daniel Bryan. So I'm going to go with the Edgester, Orangeville's own, the good Canadian kid.
I had a feeling you were going to sway that way, Jimmy. In case you folks didn't know, Edge actually wrote the foreword to Jimmy's book, The 3 Count, which you can find at bookstores everywhere, folks. That's a cheap plug. And so I do think that Edge has a great shot at here. And again, the favorite at plus money, it's tough to argue with that. However, you have Roman Reigns. You have the head of the table. You have the most dominant superstar over the past year in this match going off at worse odds, higher odds than the favorite. So I'm going to go with Roman Reigns at plus 200. I really like the value of this play, and I just think that Roman could continue to hold this championship even for another entire year after this, setting up at WrestleMania 38 a match with, let's say his last name ends with Talk, the Talk. It's The Rock. That's what I mean.
So
those are our plays right there. We have Jimmy taking Edge at plus 125 and Reigns for me at plus 200. Next up, we have a spectacular match, if only for the fact that it is a couple of good Canadian kids going at it. Jimmy, this match could be one of the best of WrestleMania weekend. We have Merivale, Quebec, Canada's Kevin Owens going up against Sami Zayn, the native of Montreal, Quebec. This should be an outstanding match. I mean, these two have such a long history together. As for betting odds, Kevin Owens going off at minus 350, Sami Zayn going off at plus 250. Jimmy, what do you like about this match? And more importantly, what do you like gambling-wise?
Okay, what I like about the match is, like you said, two good Canadian kids growing up together, kind of taking similar paths to the WWE, and now getting to face each other on the grandest stage of them all at WrestleMania. But you want to talk about value picks. I like Sami Zayn here as a great value pick. Look, it's one of those situations where Kevin Owens, regardless of whether he wins or loses this match, I don't think he loses any value as a superstar. Sami Zayn is the guy who is in much need of an elevation here, and I think this is the perfect opportunity. So if you're looking for a value pick at plus 250, Sami Zayn is probably my pick as best value.
I think that that's a great value pick. I'm going to say, though, that Sami doesn't stand a chance in hell against Kevin Owens. I've loved the lead up to the match. I love the lead up that it was so short. You don't need a super long storyline for Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn to have a compelling match. These two already have a story built in, and they're going to put on a hell of a match in any way. And it doesn't matter what happens before the match. Having said all that, Kevin Owens at minus 350, I don't like the value at all. You're eating a lot of chalk on this. However, I think I'd still lay some money on Kevin Owens. That's how confident I am in that pick. Next up, we have what could be a weekend stealing match. It's just a regular singles match, but we have Cesaro taking on Seth Rollins. This match, Jimmy, it should be absolutely incredible. And I know you have some strong feelings on that. Cesaro minus 275, Seth Rollins plus 200, the underdog. What do you like about this match? Who do you like in this match? Jimmy Korderas.
I like everything about this match. This matchup screams like a show stealer for WrestleMania, especially from an in-ring standpoint. Two guys that can really go. Cesaro, we've been waiting for this moment for a long time for him to have a singles breakout match at WrestleMania. Everybody seems to think that this is it. And you can have your breakout match without actually having to win the match. That's why, again, looking at value, Seth Rollins at plus 200, I have to lean that way. I'm leaning Seth Rollins in this one because the Friday Night Messiah now has a way of, besting his opponents. And I think this, regardless of the fact that Cesaro is looking for his first singles win at WrestleMania, I think Seth Rollins comes out on top. And again, you're looking at value here. I tend to look at value, and plus 200 looks good to me.
So I don't like the Friday Night Messiah. I don't like that term, Jimmy. What I do like is the 360 Swing King. And I'm giving Cesaro that name because you can watch Cesaro on Sportsnet 360 every Friday night, swing guys around. And that is what this whole match, this whole buildup has been about, is Seth, he doesn't want to be swung. He doesn't want to be swinging around from Cesaro. And we've talked a lot about how Cesaro doesn't have that marquee win in his WWE career. I think that time is now. Again, there's not a lot of value on betting on Cesaro here. Minus 275, again, you're eating a lot of chalk. However, I think that it's time. Cesaro's going to pick up that big win. And like you said, Jimmy, show-stealing match caliber, absolutely. How many times do you think these guys have wrestled? Like 1,000 throughout their lives?
Yeah, they've definitely had careers wrestling each other, and this was now, again, on the grandest stage. They're going to show everybody what they've got.
And they're going to have a lot of time to do it. This should be great. Yeah. So we'll recap here. We have Jimmy taking Rollins at plus 200. Great value on that. I'm going to take Cesaro at minus 275. Not a lot of value on that, but I do feel pretty confident in my pick. I like that Jimmy's going for the underdog, though. A lot of value there. For our fifth and final match, we're actually looking at two matches. So this is the 5 on the 5 count referee. The two women's matches on this show should be very, very good. The first one we're going to look at is the Raw Women's Championship match. We have Asuka defending against Rhea Ripley. And once again, similar to the WWE Championship, we're in a scenario where the challenger is a favorite. The challenger in this case is a heavy favorite. Jimmy, unlike the last couple of matches we looked at, you're not going to be looking for the value play here. Instead, you're thinking with your head. You're thinking very clearly. Who do you like?
Yeah, I look for value play in a situation where you think you can actually, win your bet. In this one here, I'm looking at Rhea Ripley. I don't see any stopping her. She just seems to be on a roll, and I think if you're looking for a match where you could say, I don't want to say lock, but I will say it's close to it. Okay, you go ahead then.
I'll say it. If I had a giant lock, I'd hold it up and I'd say, this is my lock of the week.
There you go.
Rhea Ripley at -300. There's a reason she's -300. This is a lock. This is the lock of all locks. Asuka's had one hell of a run as Raw Women's Champion, but it has gotten stale. She hasn't had any legitimate competitors, any legitimate challengers for a year since she won the championship just a little bit after WrestleMania. So it's time. It's time to move on. And Rhea Ripley, what a perfect option to move on to as Raw Women's Champion. So there you have it. My lock, Jimmy Korderas. Your lock, Rhea Ripley at -300. Now, where we differ is the next match. It's the SmackDown Women's Championship, and we have Sasha Banks defending at +300. She's defending against Bianca Belair at -450. If you thought that the last match had a challenger who was a massive favorite, this is even more. Bianca Belair, -450. Jimmy, are you taking Belair, or are you going to the dog with Sasha Banks at +300?
Yeah, I tend to bet a lot of dogs, and I don't mean that in a bet. Sasha Banks, I see possibly returning to her old villainous ways to retain her championship here. Everything seems to be falling into place for Bianca Belair a little too nicely for me. So I think there's maybe a little bit of a surprise. Maybe she gets a little help from an old friend, Bailey. But I'm going with Sasha Banks. I'm going with the underdog in this one.
Another big time value play for Jimmy there. So now where we differ is I've been eating a lot of chalk on some of the other bets that I've been placing. So instead of laying -450 and winning like $1 on a $100 bet, not really. What we're going to do here is I'm actually going to parlay Bianca Belair with Ripley. So two heavy favorites. That takes us down to -162 if I parlay those two together. And I do like that value a little more. Still a little bit of chalk, but still I like that a lot more than rather just laying on -450. So what Jimmy's doing is he likes the value play of Sasha Banks at +300. I'm going to parlay Belair and Rhea Ripley together for -162. That's what I like. So let's recap, Jimmy. Let's just say this. It's going to be a hell of a weekend of wrestling. Am I right?
Oh, absolutely. It's going to be, WrestleMania week is huge, but 2 nights of WrestleMania is going to be awesome.
So we've got the gambling gods in the corner. I'm laying the boots to the gambling gods. You're giving me till 5 with our picks. Are you going to disqualify me, or do you think that we got a good shot of breaking the hold and the referee letting the match continue and us roll on to Profit Town?
Well, it all depends. I don't mind your picks at all, but again, I'm one of these guys that tends to look for the best value possible, and I like leading underdog sometimes.
And certainly you have done that a few times. So let's recap with our best value plays. I'm going to start with mine. I like Bobby Lashley in the WWE Championship match against Drew McIntyre. The champion Bobby Lashley is an underdog +110 to defeat Drew McIntyre and to retain. Jimmy, your best value play. We go to the good Canadian kids, couple of them going at each other. We have Sami Zayn, we have Kevin Owens. You like Sami at +250, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And if to a lesser degree, I like the other Canadian kid, Edge, at +125 as the favorite. You gotta like that too.
You gotta love that, folks. You get 2 best value plays from former WWE official Jimmy Korderas. And our locks, we just talked about them. We have Rhea Ripley at -300. Again, eating a lot of chalk on that play, but this is the lock of all locks of WrestleMania weekend, Jimmy.
I totally agree. Like I said, I like to lean towards underdogs because I look for value, but in this one here, I also don't like to lose.
And neither do I, and neither will Rhea Ripley, and neither will you, ladies and gentlemen, watching in computer land. You will not lose if you follow the advice of Jimmy Korderas or me. I mean, we pick some different things, so I guess if you go against one of us, you may lose. But either way, you follow one of us on one of the matches, we're bound to win, right? And I think that we've given you some pretty good plays that I think that if you lay some money, you will win some money. Jimmy Korderas, it is going to be one hell of a weekend for wrestling. WrestleMania 37 coming to you Saturday and Sunday from Tampa, Florida.
Enjoy WrestleMania, guys.